Let's go!
Yes, sir.
Arkansas Razorback fans, we've got to talk about the defense. We broke down a few things about the offense. And this is a player that I am really excited about. I mean, a freak athlete, Larry Worth, year 2 with the Hogs, gets that single-digit jersey from number 30 down to number 3. We're also going to talk about Scarlett, Quintavious Deshaun Scarlett.
It's a different level because you realize, like, as a freshman, you needed guys older than you to come in and step in and help you out.
Key and Peele name right there. You love to see it. I really like him coming in from Eastern Michigan University. Yes, the great Turf. But this was something we talked about quite a bit. This Arkansas team will be heavily reliant on non-Power 4 transfers defensively. And, man, it's a dangerous game to play. So one of my favorite things T-Will does in practice, they actually do tackle the student manager. So this guy right here performing a selfless job, actually taking this all the way in to the pad. I like it because you're actually finishing a tackle. But, man, this is a little concerning for me. So in the background, you have Selman Bridges, former 4-star recruit going into year 2, and you have Jaheim Singletary, the former 5-star Georgia transfer. I believe, in Arkansas fans, you can correct me in the comment section, I think this is his 3rd season with the Hogs. Right now, according to Danny West and 247, these are your 2 starters that most people have seen in practice. I don't know how comfortable I would be if that was the starting cornerback duo. But look, this corner room is kind of been tough. You know, last year, of course, you had to replace Nudie McLaughlin, and corner was serviceable. Hudson Clark, obviously, completely out of the picture now. And look, you go throughout the entire levels of the defense, and Clark didn't play as much as he did, obviously, in the years before. But you no longer have Landon Jackson either. You do still have number 5, Cameron Ball, who I do like a lot. But, man, I just think all 3 levels of this defense, you just got to hope for the best in many ways because, man, it's just so many good players that this defense lost last season. And then we get to a guy that we talked about quite a bit last spring, Charlie Collins, former top 100 recruit, in-state recruit. A lot of pressure on him to, produce this next season. One thing I do like, and I point this out in all drills, and obviously it would depend on how they actually do this. It is good to see the football on the stick, right? You want to have your guys used to seeing a football being fired off instead of just a coach saying go. But I've heard some good things from Collins this camp. Obviously, he was mostly a non-factor last year. So you see right here, there is no ball being used, right? And I think that could set your defensive lineman back. I really do, because as a defensive lineman, if I'm used to hearing the coach say go, it just isn't the same as actually looking at the football when it's fired off. So, or just having the football, being pulled, if you will. So there's Singletary. Look at him making a one-handed INT. But I need you Arkansas fans in the comment section below. Educate me on your defense. Am I missing something? Is there a transfer that I need to keep an eye out for going into next year? Man, there were some practices, and speaking to a source that goes to every single practice, that Selman Bridges had last spring, and we even did a few videos on him, where he was looking really, really, really good. So now going into year 2, hopefully he can be a bona fide stud. And as many of you know, Singletary, it's just been woefully inconsistent. What I will say, though, is he has had some very difficult matchups over the years at corner, because wide receiver, of course, has just been so unfreaking believably good in the SEC over the past couple of seasons. You know, you factor in Arkansas's had to face against Luther Burden and the LSU guys. Brian Thomas torched Singletary in his first season at Arkansas. So, I mean, that makes sense, if you will. But you really do need this unit to step up. And if you were, as an Arkansas fan, to point out to the one unit that has consistently not been up to stuff in the SEC, I think most would say the secondary has been the biggest thorn in the Razorback side over the years. So I want you to remember this in the background, all right? This is quarterback Blake Boda in his second year. Obviously a deep cut backup. I'm not even sure if he's a QB4, but I want you to keep in mind screens, right? We'll do a video on those upcoming for Arkansas. So, we go over to the other side of the football. I've seen a lot of your comments based on our last video about the wide receiver room. I said what I said about Andrew Armstrong and how big of a loss that's going to be. But a lot of you said, did you believe that Bobby Petrino wouldn't go into the season with a wide receiver room worse than what he had last year? And there is some credence to that. Can you get Shamar Easter? This was a heavily recruited Arkansas tight end. I think this is year 3 for him in the program, at least year 3. So hopefully he steps up. That was Courtney Crutchfield in the backup, but in the background. And Sharp, who just caught the ball, is a guy that a lot of you have been clamoring about. Not only him, but Omega Blake. So look, if Taylon Green takes just that massive leap, maybe, just maybe, all of this is a moot point. Because if he's special next year, watch out, okay? So you see right there that they are working on in-breakers, and here is another screen. So I'll just give you a little nugget here, because I've seen and heard quite a bit about all the different screens. You see, I believe that's Sam Pittman, recovering from surgery on the golf cart right there. But one stat that I found to be interesting as I start to project this Arkansas Razorback offense going into next year is how low their screen rate actually was. So Taylon Green, of quarterbacks who attempted 100 passes or more last year, he was 147th in all of college football in screen rate, attempting one only 8% of the time. And I remember vividly, one of the big plays, Malachi Singleton on that Tennessee drive, was that screen to Satania. Obviously, both those players are no longer here, but that was a play that really got that final game-winning drive going. So maybe screens will be a bigger part of what Arkansas does next year, right? Some of the better offenses in all of college football use quite a bit of screens. So it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, a good thing about screens is that it does make your offensive line's life a lot easier. But we'll do a deeper dive on screens later on down the road. So I appreciate all the love on the first video. And I want to show, once again, major love to our friends at Sequoia Dental. SequoiaDental.com. Make sure you book your appointment today. By far, the best dental oral services you could have in all of Northwest Arkansas. So hopefully for you guys, this offensive line is better next year. Natty State, let me know what you guys think down below. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. And tonight we are doing burgers. Let's go.